Good evening, meteorologist Bob Acanfrio with a tropical storm Chantal update for Tuesday, July 9, 2013. Well, we have Chantal here, very interesting storm. Some of you guys were watching it early this morning. You probably thought Chantal might just die or maybe open up into a wave. It looked terrible going through the islands today, but that small little center has been very persistent and is really sometimes these smaller systems, they're not affected too much by that dry air, and there really hasn't been a lot of wind shear right around the system. So it's maintained itself. It's actually gotten a little stronger today. Maximum sustained wind 65 in a small area to the northeast of the center. Pressure I think is 1,006 millibars. Moving west-northwest at 26 miles an hour, so still moving very quickly here. And it'll make its approach towards the Dominican Republic and Haiti tomorrow afternoon. So here's the current forecast track. This is the new one out at 5 p.m. And I'll show you what some of the shifts were and why and how and all that good stuff in a second here. But we had a little bit of a shift west in the track by the Hurricane Center at 5, and I'll show you why they did that and what I think is going to happen or may not happen. We now have tropical storm watches and warnings up for the warnings for the Turks and Caicos, watches for southeastern Bahamas, and then Hispanola. We also have a hurricane watch here for a portion of the Dominican Republic here. Doubt this is going to become a hurricane before it approaches. It's probably going to stay pretty steady state up until its approach to the Dominican. Maybe we might add another 5 miles an hour to the wind speed, but I don't see it getting much stronger than it is now. So here's the forecast track. It looks like it's going to come across here, and again, I'll show you what the models have been doing and why this track may even shift a little farther west. But anyway, move over a portion of the Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and then emerge here across the somewhere around the Bahamas Thursday night, Friday time frame. And this is where things could get interesting. Pretty interesting. Well, I'll just go into this now about the intensity forecast real quick. They've actually extended the track up a little quicker up this way. If you saw the track last night and this morning, kind of slowed it down in here. And then maybe, they had more of a turn to the west. Now some of the models are starting to bring this a little farther north. But anyway, very interested by the National Hurricane Center. Okay, so the first forecast they put out, basically, basically dissipating to a depression in here. Okay, that was the first forecast. Then last night, was saying, hey, it's, looking like we're going to get some re-strengthening in here, which I was talking about yesterday as well, once it moves into the Bahamas, which would make more sense. And then this morning, the forecast came out. Again, they were kind of, it's going to weaken in here. Now, at 5 p.m., we're back to, well, it may re-strengthen in here. So really back and forth there. Very interesting, forecast by the National Hurricane Center. My thinking all along is that with this trough split in here, and I'll show you that in a minute, that it has to re-strengthen in here. And that, again, that's if we have something left once it moves over Hispaniola. You would think once it gets in here, it's going to re-strengthen. It has to. So it's been very back and forth by the National Hurricane Center. So I don't see this thing, if it does come out into here, it's going to die. I think it's going to re-strengthen in here. And that's what we really have to watch with this track, being so close to the southeastern United States and Florida. All right, so where did the models go today? We'll go here real quick before we take a look at Chantal. This was the official track this morning, this black line by the National Hurricane Center. Then we saw, these are the the ensemble guidance here, the NCEP and ensemble guidance, and this was at 12Z, which was, earlier back this morning sometime, and we saw the shift west here. So you see, here we go. Everything shifted west, and again, this could be bad news for a stronger storm, because if this does not move over a good portion of Hispaniola and maybe takes more of this track to the south, it's going to go over less land. It's still going to be moving quickly through here. The slowdown's going to come once it gets here. Once it starts feeling that trough, steering currents are going to weaken a little bit as high pressure weakens in here. trough comes down, then the slow down begins in here. So this thing's not going to fly through here. It's going to start slowing down. So it could move fast through here, being a small system. Fast through here, kind of miss the big mountains, and maybe come out here, slow down, and start really re-strengthening. So we definitely have to watch that. The National Hurricane Center, if you see this, they didn't shift this track as far west as the models would go. They hinted at it in the 5 p.m. discussion that they could even move this farther west. I think they're going to wait and see. They don't like to make big shifts, but I think the speed of Chantal is moving this further west. Thus, the models are starting to respond to that. So you see this shift west this way. So the National Hurricane Center just shifted it just a little west. They really could have come this far west. You know, this could have been their official track right here. But if you look, you know, they're still a little out east of the consensus. So there we are here. And again, how far north does it get? I'm gonna show you in a minute here. We're gonna have a blocking high pressure up in here, so it can't come up the east coast. It's gonna have to eventually move back this way. But does this keep moving west, and then maybe it doesn't even reach southeastern coast, South Carolina, North Carolina? I mean, it could still do that. It could get so far west that it never even makes it up into here. So that's the angle it's coming in. Should be very interesting to watch that. Again, my guess would be we're going to shift this a little farther west in time here. So I think we may even be coming up something like this eventually. And then where does it slow down? Does it make more of a hook this way? Does it just run into Florida? Does it even sneak into the eastern Gulf here? You never know, okay? And then we got to contend with Cuba then as we shift west. So still a lot of land to contend with here. 18Z model runs, and again, you see more of that S shape on these guys than the ensembles, but again, we shifted a little farther west even with these guys, and again, something in here we're going to go. Visible, still fighting a little bit of dry air today. As you can see, these outflow boundaries right in here, showing it trying to throw out some of that dry air, but Chantal's been doing a good job. You know, little centers of circulation like this don't get affected by much. It's kind of, its little center, small center has actually been kind of its protector in here. Oh, let this update a minute. And oh, hey, come on now. And it's kind of been, now it's going to go crazy on me here. Hang on a second here. Let's get rid of this real quick here. Okay. It's kind of protecting that center from all the dry air and everything. Cloud expands. We've expanded today as well a little bit. Chantal's gotten a little bigger as well. So definitely looking not great by the satellite appearance, but better than it looked this morning. And then here's the bigger picture, and this is what we're going to be watching. We have our upper level TUT feature here, continuing to slowly move west, even a little southwest today. Higher shear here, but as this moves this way and this trough split occurs, this area could actually be conducive for development as Chantal moves up this way. If we look at our tropical points, actually these are the old tropical points, the new ones are more like this. But so this is what's going to open it up for maybe possible re-strengthening once it gets to the Bahamas. And I'll just show you the wind shear today, still kind of low. You know, we're in that 10, 15 mile an hour area here, so not really affecting Chantal too much. This higher shear is eventually going to move off to the west, and then it's going to be that game. You know, do we get into that prime as this trough split occurs? Are we going to get into that better region of lower shear in here or not? It's going to be a close call, and I think that's why the National Hurricane Center has been wavering a little bit. Again, my gut says it re-strengthens in the Bahamas, so that's where I'm going with it. And again, just to show you, this is 12Z Euro, and just kind of showing you, they don't have much. Euro hasn't really picked up on this storm much, just a weak little reflection here, but just going to show you how the GFS and the Euro do have this high pressure here that's going to really block Chantal's escape. If we look at the GFS as well, here's that high pressure here, Chantal down here. It's going to have a hard time really riding up the coast. It's really, if it gets this far north, it's probably just going to run into South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina area up in here. But again, if we go back, looking at the models again, could this even shift farther west? So again, Florida, Southeast coast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Really have to be on guard with this one. We'll know more if you're wondering, hey, what do I do this weekend? You know, what my plans are. Wait till Thursday, till this gets away from Hispanola. By Thursday, we're really going to get an idea of where we're at and what we have left of Chantal and what's going to happen as far as impacts across Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. We'll know more by Thursday, okay? That's it for today. I hope you enjoy my videos. Follow me on YouTube, WeatherGuy03. Facebook, Robert, ACANFRIO. I've had a few new friend requests yesterday, so that's great. I constantly throw out new material on Facebook nonstop through the day when I have time, so it's good to follow me on there as well. Just friend request me, and we go from there, okay? Have a good night, guys.